Hey, Smitty, what's going on? What's going on? Mmm, what's going on? Na 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 na. 420 got it hot out here. 420 got it hot out here. What up, Ken? What up, Capone? 420 got it hot, y'all. Oh, I really wanted to be at home, sitting down, doing this. I really did, but I'm gonna take a drive while I do this, and hopefully the phone don't go so bad. You here for it? I just gotta let me give it some. Let me give myself a minute here, cause I want to think about what I want to say first. That's all, and a lot of it is mostly questions to myself. So some of the things you guys are gonna have to just ignore me on, but you hear me, but you ignore me on it. It's just questions to myself. Some things may come out to where, people just don't like how it comes out. But I also remind myself that I'm not here for that, right? And I have a mind of my own, and I may think a little bit different from a lot of people. So I put my disclaimer up on that. I'm not here to make no new friends. I'm not here to know personally anybody in the Robert Sylvester Kelly's camp or the YouTube camp, because there was a camp on YouTube that was created. So I have a question about that. I'd like to know you guys' opinion about it. But I'm going to start with the funny stuff for a minute. My disclaimer: I usually come on my channel and I opinionate on things that I hear and see under the umbrella of this R. Sylvester Kelly, Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Yep, I do. And all of the people that has proclaimed that they are out here pretty much for him, and not for him, and all of that buffoonery, right? Hello, mods. Hey, girlfriends. What's up? I'm glad you guys are here. It's just one of those nights for me where I just have something that I just want to talk about. Funny thing first, though, because everybody is on pretty much at the same time, which is a good thing, right? Because you don't expect the bad people like to be, in your stuff. So, yeah. Too cute said, let's smoke one. Let's smoke one. So, what up, sugar baby? What up, what up, what up? Now, I got to start it off with the Bookham boy. Because if I say your name, I just say your name. It is what it is. I don't do all that goddamn Jim, Bob, Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's just, it is what it is. And because in order to make the story fit, for me to understand myself and the questions that I have, to try to not so much figure it out, because it's beyond of figuring it out, right? It's beyond that. It's way too many, as they say, pieces in the puzzle. So right now, I basically sit back just for the entertainment of this process under this umbrella. But the old Bookham boy, he comes on. I immediately clicked off because, of course, he brings up how he is going to prove to everybody how certain people, Scooby-Doo, DJ, works and came in up under the Don Russell umbrella, right? Working for him. And it wasn't like 2 minutes that went by what he stopped trying to show. He didn't even show. He didn't even show how these two individuals, Dubosky Gun and DJ Tyson, was hired and up under Don Russell. He just planted that as his opening narrative. Then he jumped right into it being about him. How tall he was, what he wore, how he smelled, how he dapped hands with DJ, and he wasn't really. I'm thinking like, I'm still waiting on the proof. And he just never drops the goddamn proof. What does... Y'all, when I tell y'all, I promise y'all, I'm really trying. I had no wine in 2 weeks, y'all. About 2 weeks, right? And I promise y'all, this boy makes me want to open up a bottle of wine when I listen to him. So I'm saying to myself, well, I can't stick around for this because apparently he's not going to get into dropping any evidence. His evidence that he showed was about how he met DJ off an elevator over there in a goddamn Airbnb where the people was. What in the hell did that have to do anything about Adonai Russell? I can't understand. I'm like, okay, this boy here, but that was his opening narrative for the commentary that he has going on, right? And I'm sitting here going, boy, this boy got jokes for goddamn days, right? But let's move on, because you have the other people that are on, the ops over there, the COVID team, right? And they taking the time to go in and to Sharon Winbush is out here now. You know, first you need some people to start writing some letters in, and you know how I feel about that. I think that if a person is going to initiate a job for people to do, is that person should be, you go write the letters. You know, you gonna have to do some footwork. People likes to bark orders out here for other people to do some stuff and ain't really doing all the footwork, and I be having a problem with that, right? The boy is hilarious, Daz. I'm sorry. It is what it is. He is exactly what his disclaimer is on his page. Comedy, character, you know, you name it. You name it, that, you know, that's just him and blah, blah, blah. All that other stuff that he wrote over there on that damn page, he ain't did shit but copied and took that off of Lionsgate disclaimer. What the hell that came from? Anyways, but okay, I can't watch him tonight. I'm just not in the mood for him. I have to come back probably about 2-3 days later when I can kind of digest it and have some more popcorn, because I ate my popcorn up earlier today to get my laugh on. But the COVID side, you know, they mad at Winbush. Sharon Winbush is posting up all of, you know, the alleged terroristical acts about Drunken Larry. So I'm like, well, oh, okay, I ain't doing all that and blah, 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 right? All right, got a little boring to me, so it bounced from that shit. And I go over to my page where I gets to talk about this shit. I just so happened to catch the premiere that Bookham dropped with the Dr. Rogers story. How many of you guys watch that Dr. Rogers live where she came out? Now this is the serious part of me right now, and she started telling using pronouns, names, using those names, the Bob, you know, the not the real names, using pronouns, a lot of pronouns, and describing her characters, except for she called out the character. So if you saw Dr. Rogers' video some time ago, I believe she dropped that probably last month or so, put a 1 in the chat, because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. I got to talk about this for a minute, you guys. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys remember that. And then Bookham played the preview. However, he left out a piece of that video. He did not play that video. And I don't know if you guys caught that, but I'm going to bring it to your attention, okay? Okay, so I got 2 people that saw that. So for you guys that did not see that, then you got to go check it out, okay? I can't remember the name of it right now, but she came out and she called Bob was R. Kelly, then Mandy is her, and character is Bookham, and Bill is Will Eady, and all of those people, okay? You guys remember that right. Okay. So I literally listened to it twice. I had to go back to Dr. Rogers and replay it there, and then come back over here and listen to Bookham Plays the premiere of it, right? In that video, Dr. Rogers talked about how I don't want to get ahead of myself because I have a question to the chat room. I want to see if anybody knows the answer to it, because this is where I got a little puzzle at, right? But in her video, she talks about how this person knows this person and this person knows this person, verifying that Bookham was the person that, you know, that seems to be this friend of R. Kelly, saying that he was there, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to stop it right there because I have a question to the chat room. All of these people somewhere apparently knew that Mr. Kelly was about to be arrested, okay? Somewhere all of these people knew this. So my first question was, after they had found out that that Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly was arrested, and when I get to almost the middle of this, I know you guys are going to be like, you know, Pap, hold on a second. And I'm going to have to respect that, but I need you guys to respect my thoughts on this, okay? So I'm thinking, everybody learns that Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly is getting is about to be arrested. In the premiere with Bookham, he says that Drunken Larry called him to tell him that your boy is about to be arrested. So my question that I had to ask myself, if Bookham was so close to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, why did it take Drunken Larry to alarm him about Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly is about to be arrested, right? Doesn't Bookham watch the news? Isn't Bookham in contact with Mr. Kelly the way he say he was? So that alarmed me right there. And I was thinking, well, okay, but Dr. Rogers, you know, put some validity on, okay, well, he was there, she saw him there, and all of that stuff. So I got a little confused with that part. So she speaks about how, there was this phone call with the Will Eady, and then the Bookham was on the line, and yada, yada, yada. And they were talking about that there may have been a 12-year-old. Well, Dr. Rogers wasn't for sure whether if there was a current 12-year-old or a previous 12-year-old. Everybody talks about whether this situation with this LaShonda Landfair thing coming up. So she didn't quite make it clear on that, right? She just says that she wasn't quite sure whether if Will Eady, Bookham is on the phone, Will Eady saying that, oh my God, that there's a 12-year-old video, such and such is out, right? Like, okay, let's move fast forward, right? So I'm saying to myself, these group of people, first of all, how did they come about? That's what I'm saying to myself. How did these people come about? What made all of these people come out of God knows where to decide to go down and put themselves in the circumference of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? Who did it? How did they know to reach out to this person, and to this person? Well, Dr. Rogers said that Dr. Rice reached out to her. So I guess Mr. Kelly thought that it would be a good idea for it to be two doctors, with different aspects, different perspectives they came out to do, for him. Okay? Leave that right there, because I did say for him. Okay? Hear me out, you guys. You got to roll with me on this one. Let me know if my phone is breaking up too, you guys. So I'm saying to myself, well, okay, Mr. Kelly is comfortable somewhere with all of these people coming in as a group or one by one or being on the phone with these people, yada. Kelly knew of these people through who? So I'm saying, well, okay, I guess maybe it was Booker, you know? Okay, so he brings these people in. Now, this is the part where I know some of you guys are going to shake your head at me, and I'm okay with that. But this is my thinking. And I ain't no goddamn team out here. And it is what it is. These are my thoughts. When they speak about camp, it makes me wonder. Because Dr. Rogers speaks, Bookham speaks, as if they all had a particular mission to do for Mr. Cali. Now, I'm asking myself this other question. But did Mr. Cali give these people a mission to do? And what was the freaking mission? What was all of their jobs to come out here to the YouTube streets to do, either on behalf of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly or against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? Because that's where this whole freaking entanglement has come from. If I ask myself, this is where this whole entanglement comes from. It's just peculiar to me to find that out of all of these people that made a choice to go and be around this man, learn somewhat of what has been going on with him, he has shared stories with him, ended up being the people out here with a whole bunch of stuff going on. Now, that's the part that got me. I can't understand how so many people gets involved in this man's life, but yet to portray to everybody as if they were another part of his camp that was supposed to have been in there to help him. So now the question is, well, where did it all go wrong at? So I had to ask myself that too, and it's always leading me back to Booker. There was a lot of things that Dr. Rogers held out on that video because she's not for the drama. She don't want to hear this. She don't want to hear that. She heard a bunch of bits and pieces. Now, if you guys go back to Dr. Rogers' video, but check me. So I'm back. Yeah. Hold on, you guys. I'm back. I didn't know Dr. Rogers was in the chat. Like I say, Coda call. She's at a track meet, so I'm trying to hang out. I'm waiting for the bus to come back to the school, so I'll give it a second before I can continue this on. I'm back. Now, where did I leave off at? Let me finish this. Okay, I left off with Dr. Rogers stating that on that phone call, it was mentioned to her, I guess by Bill. And everybody's saying, I guess Bill was a wheel, okay? But I was saying that when Dr. Rogers put her video out, right? Not the premiere video that Bookham played, but the video that he was doing while Dr. Rogers was doing her video. So it's on that day, the same time that Dr. Rogers was live. He was playing her video that day. Okay? That day. In that video, after he played the part with Dr. Rogers mentioning that was listening through the phone call with the hearsay saying that, oh, there may be a 12-year-old, and Dr. Rogers not understanding where, if he was talking about a current 12-year-old or or older previous 12-year-old. So as Bookham was playing that video, after she said that, Bookham responded with, oh no, she was 14. That's what he said. He said her name was X. And I'm thinking that he was talking about the LaToya X. I'm not sure on that part, but that's what he said. But see, but that's not in the premiere that he played at all. So that puzzled me, right? But Dr. Rogers goes on in that video and she talks about how, with people out on the YouTube and with doing too much, and you're if you're acting this way, then this wouldn't be a good spokesperson, because Mr. Kelly is not, allegedly this type of person. It's, to have people around carrying on for him like that, with trying to represent him. Okay, so Sugar Baby, is my live okay? Because I only see you back. My baby called. She's at a track meet. I'm trying to hang out, and they're on the highway on the bus, so I'd have to pick her up from school. She had another track meet today. So where did this all go wrong? Okay, I'm good. Okay. Hopefully she'll probably call me back in a little bit. But I don't know why it knocked that live out. It did. So Dr. Rogers decided to opt out of this stuff. Like, this is too much, right? She even talks about how it just looked at insanely with the attorneys coming out and speaking to certain people on the lives with different bloggers and things like that, right? And I can respect that, because that should have never happened when it came to, thank you, Beauty, trying to represent a client, right? There's this, it's just a thumb rule. It's just a thumb rule, client and counselor, a lot of things, it should have been kept privately, not on YouTube, to show that you are friends with someone of that statute like that. But there was 2 videos, and Bookham did say that in the other video. You guys have to just go back and find it. He was saying that, no, he was correcting Dr. Rogers on her live as she was playing it live that day, the same day. And he said, no, oh, no. It was a 14-year-old. And he said that her name was X. He said that. He did say that. And that's not allegedly. He said that. So I'm sitting here going, well, okay. Mr. Kelly has these group of people, allegedly, that he had talked to. These people had come down to visit him. These people got in close enough to him to learn bits and pieces of his world, right? And I did say that a lot of you guys may not like me for what I'm about to say. And what I'm saying is, what was the job, I guess? What is it that they were supposed to do out here? Did Mr. Kelly send these people out here as his spokespeople to speak on his situation in a particular kind of way? Did he do it, or did he not? Did he do it, or did he not? Because they all did come out here and had some things to say from being around him, except for you didn't see Will Edie out here as much. He did a little bit of talking over on his IG back in 2000, early 20 or so. He was over there for a little bit, But I'm trying not to make this hard for me. You know what I'm saying? But you're talking about the confusing and the entanglement to all of these people. To me, it has been done literally by the first camp of people who that all went down to visit this man, to be a part of him. The main culprit, in my opinion, who has done a lot of damage to Mr. Kelly's persona, his character, his integrity. If he, if you people say that he has that, and his loving heart and all of those things, it's Bookham. And that's just my opinion. I could not understand, like, with Dr. Rogers saying that, okay, he was there and she saw him there, and to her it appears that Mr. Kelly knows him, and she's not aware of how long he's been around, but the times that he had come in there, she puts validity on that. So I'm steady asking myself, if this person is whom he say he is to Mr. Kelly, this friend, this godson, this mentee, and all of it, you name it, right? One would have to ask themselves, then why all of the performance act on his show? What was Bookham's job from Mr. Kelly? Is this what his assignment was to do? Is the assignment from these, I like to call them the second camp people, was to come out here and find out who all was who from subs, and throw a bunch of people that, to me, is just harmless subs out here with opinions and different stories, as if these were the people that sit in the sub section has done harm to Mr. Kelly. And that's what behooves me in this whole charade out here. Like, all of these people, what was the assignment? What was the assignment? Did Mr. Kelly put an assignment out for the second camp to come to YouTube to do this? Who was supposed to be the spokesperson? Was it Bookham? Who was it? Yeah, I believe. You know why, Dr. Rogers, I believe that you wasn't? Because you seriously have opted out of this stuff. You seriously took care of things that came your way. But I still ended up having a question with that. And like I said, I'm on your video. And the question was to me, you put validity on this boy. You and I guess it was some other people, by saying that, okay, he was there, he knows him, and woo. But you also said that, or he said it too, we all have heard it say, well, Mr. Kelly told him, hey, if you gonna hang with me, you can't be dressing and looking like that. Now, a person like me, and the way that I think, I'm thinking that, well, he ain't been around that long, Dr. Rogers, because if you'd have been around him that long, you already know the type of appearance that he would want you to have. So was it just that particular day that he was dressed as a bum, or what? But the way I'm thinking is like, well, there's no possible way he had been around that freaking long with Mr. Kelly. And then for Bookham to come back to say that, well, drunken Larry had to call him to tell him that Mr. Kelly was about to get arrested. That's a red flag. That's some BS. Something is shaky with that. Why wasn't it coming from someone in the camp? Why wasn't Bookham message to the people out here that, hey, will Edie call me? Or he mentioned a lady's name or something like that. He said Liz is somebody. He called I don't know, he was on the phone, he talking to the lady. The lady said, oh, well, I was coming she was coming down the stairs, and then all she know is that they about to arrest R. Kelly, and he was there. He was on the phone with her, and then he heard all these police cars pull up to arrest him. And that was then when Drunken Larry called him to tell him that he's about to be arrested. That didn't even make sense, Dr. Rogers. That don't even make sense right there. Something is terribly wrong with that story. He's part of R. Kelly's camp. That's R. Kelly's mentee. That's his godson. So why did that message had to be a phone call from Drunken Larry to book him? Out of all people, the one that literally brought the cross out here to help crucify Mr. Kelly. It made no sense to me, but that's just my way of thinking. Now, you had the other situation, though, Dr. Rogers, where you said, where you were pretty angry about Bookham putting up your brother. And it was Sylvia, and all of them played a part into it, and you felt that the best way to handle that was to do what you have to do, and you needed them to just stand down, because you're not out here to hurt anybody like that. Just fall back and leave me alone. But then I'm sitting here thinking to myself, but wait a minute now, couldn't the mentee get in Bookham's ass about doing some things that mentally harmed you if he was in the camp and that close to Robert Kelly like that? I'm sitting here thinking like, well, wouldn't that have been the best route? Did that ever even get discussed with Mr. Kelly? It's not none of my business. It's just my question to myself. I'm like, well, did she, because you say you know, and you talk to him or something, and it was like, but you know what? And since he listened to his father, his god daddy, I would have called him and been like, but wait a minute, Book, he's doing this and he's carrying on this way. He's doing these things. No one really ever got the whole detailed story about, what made all of y'all fall out, Dr. Rogers. Yes, you said you was getting away from the drama. You said that. And somewhat you have done that, because nobody sees you out here going flippity, floop, floop, flop with nobody. So that's respectable right there. But what made y'all turn on each other? What made you guys turn against each other if you all went down there to help Mr. Kelly, to come back out here for all of you guys? Because you guys are like the immediate crew. You guys put your right foot in front of your left foot. You guys stormed off down there to Mr. Kelly. You got to hear his stories. You got to come out to protect the sisters, whom Bookham also started yelling and cussing at and saying that they're not his sisters. He turned on them too. So what did Papoose think about? I'm thinking to myself, well, what did this stuff? And the only answer that I can come up with, Dr. Rogers, was that I think that Bookham really put himself ahead of the second camp, because he felt that he was more close to him than all of you guys. But that's just my opinion. So if you guys wasn't dancing to his beat, or responding or saying things the way he felt that they should be said, then you guys were going to get literally lit by him, period. So since you guys didn't do that, and whatever interference that came about with this whole Angelo and Drunken Larry thing, right? Then You also said on your live that day, which kind of turned my light bulb on over here, where not per se adding name tags to opportunities, but when you turn on that light bulb and you see how he did not rock with the second camp like that anymore, right? Well, here is his time to become this opportunist. You talked about monetizing, right? You demonetized your videos out of respect, and especially if you're going to do anything pertaining to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. And he's literally smirked on that. Like, mm, okay, well, whatever. Because every man's got to eat no matter what. But it just behooves me because in all reality, the second camp really knows what happened, Dr. Rogers. You guys do. And you guys are seriously, and I know you say everything ain't for the YouTube streets, and I can respect that. I can respect that. But in order to kill a lot of speculations, and Mr. Kelly has been through his first trial, and I understand he has other trials to go through. You guys pretty much know the real deal of why. Not you by yourself, Dr. Rogers, because I have respect for you. So not you by yourself, right? But it is quite known about Don Russell too. It is. But what behooves me is with the Don Russell thing, he's the only one that got his panties in a bunch about it. Nobody else. Not no Keith, what up, Ivan? Not no Will, not no Wayne Williams, not none of these people is coming out here arguing and jumping down Don Russell's throat, but book him. So that tells me that this isn't about, in my opinion, Don Russell and R. Kelly to a certain extent. This is something that Bookham chose to take on personally, or somebody gave him another mission to do against Don Russell. It just doesn't add up that Don Russell has done all of these things that Bookham doesn't like, but ride with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. And he's the only one. Where's the other people that loves Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly that was in his camp? They ain't going after Don Russell ass. Yeah, I know, because you don't even talk about it, though, Dr. Rogers. Keep in mind, though, I'm just asking myself these questions, basically, in my head, but it's just, I'm thinking out loud. So it's not directed intentionally towards you. It's just my story of my thoughts. That's it, and that's all. That's it, and that's all. But he said that in the live, off of your live, that, oh no, she was 14 years old. And I heard him say it, and my mouth dropped open, because if you ask me, he tells more shit against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly than anybody else out here. Anybody else out here. That's all. And it's just weird how he's able to sell these stories, right? No, it may not be anybody's business about him, seeing the pictures and all of that stuff, but I can't see how Mr. Kelly, even though right now, Dr. Rogers, no, he shouldn't be worrying with this shit. He shouldn't be worrying about what the hell Bookham is doing right now. And I pray to God that he doesn't, to that extent, because that's not his real son. It's just somebody that came around and decided, well, you're here, we might as well make some use of it and do. You got a guy who says that he's been around him all this time and shows up at a court hearing with a t-shirt on. How many times does Mr. Kelly got to tell him that your appearance is just not appropriate? But yet then he shows up. What was that? That the second time? Because the first time you made it sound like he was, somewhere at the apartment, at the condo or something, and he's like, well, there he goes, dressed. He's out of dress code again. How many times he gonna be out of dress code? Those are just little red flags, to me though, Doctor. I'm like, well, what the hell? How many times he gonna have to school him with his clothing wear? That's just crazy. But as time went on out here on the YouTube streets, like I say, it's very confusing. Or, if Mr. Kelly asked all of you guys to have your channels and to come out and say particular things, and some things to not say particular things. I wouldn't want to imagine that he had done so. Everybody says that, oh, he's private and he's this and he doesn't like to talk, or he talks to people individually. He has his one-on-one conversations with them. But everybody who says that ended up with a YouTube channel and talks about this man's business. It's behoofified. And that ain't even a word, Dr. Rogers, but I like making up words. It's just behoofified. It's just behoofified. Everybody that had the opportunity to be around R. Kelly, be around his attorneys at some point in time, developed YouTube channels that was talking about that's somewhat of this man's life. And if that's the case, then Mr. Kelly isn't as private as people portray him to be. So that it was just discouraging. It was really discouraging. It wasn't just YouTube channels about he's doing good and his lawyers is doing this. However, you did come out on your live and you said that you hope that a lot of people out here don't go contacting his new attorneys, when in fact, and I know you're not a name caller person, but Bookham contacted the old attorneys. What made people think that he might have not tried to contact the new attorneys, as well as plenty other people out here, picked up the phone to contact his attorneys as if they had money to even obtain one for this man? I couldn't understand that. I can't understand that. But now it's not about Mr. Kelly. It's about, let's hunt down who done these things to Mr. Kelly. But as I read through all of this stuff about Don Russell, because this is Bookham's war hunt. He's on a war hunt for this man. Somehow he's able to tell these people that he knows for a fact that Don was this mole and intentionally came in to hurt him. But what I can't understand, Dr. Rogers, is that a lot of you guys were down there. Mr. Kelly shared these things with you guys. Some things, not everything probably, but some things, right? Wouldn't he have said that, hey, I'm going to need y'all to, help me out with the Don Russell thing? Because it's only one person out here that's saying what he has to say about Don Russell. Where are the other people in the camp? Why aren't they hog hedging? That just doesn't add up. Everything that I have read pertaining to this Don Russell, whether if he I don't know for sure. I can't be for sure. I read it that he was doing things to help this man. And you're in the chat right now. What do you think? Out of all honesty, do you think that he was trying to help him or hurt him? I don't know anybody that would actually put themselves in a compromising situation to face 10 years themselves in lives, to be taken away from their children and their mom and everything for on the come up off of $1. I just don't see that. I just don't see it. But however, I just wanted to. I just had to. I guess I just had to get that out. Just had to get. I don't know. This shit is crazy. But it's crazy, Dr. Rogers, how he uses Bookham does everybody else's lives, and those lives are only used to see if anybody is going to be saying anything bad about him or tipping something off. That's it, and that's all. He doesn't use anybody videos to help Mr. Kelly's narrative of his innocence. He uses the videos to see what you people have to say about him in a bad way. That's it, and that's all. It's just crazy. Okay, I don't believe at all. Not after the message that I heard him say. Bookham said that. Drunken Larry had to call him to tell him that Mr. Kelly is being arrested. Why didn't that call come from the inside camp? Why didn't Mr. Kelly have someone close to him call Bookham, since Bookham is so close to R. Kelly and he knows everything inside the camp? That's some just weird, crazy stuff. That's just red flags all freaking day. So then, as the months went on and the next year came about, it just got to be a further into a bigger Charlotte's Web out here. But the only thing that he has been able to come out here to do, Dr. Rogers, is just put the shine on him. He just put the shine all on him. But then he'll double down and tell you that I'll die for this man. I'll kill you for this man. And all of that stuff. And you already know that that's too damn far-fetched of not even being blood related to somebody. See, it's a big difference between being a supporter, a defender, and a fan. It's a big difference between all three of them. And when you got to put the tomatoes with the tomatoes and be doing all of this type of characteristical acting out on this stuff and going at people, going at innocent people out here because of an opinion, I'm gonna call red flag on it, and I'm gonna call somebody at the top of this food chain, or the top of this social media chain, the top of this R.S. Kelly chain thing, or whatever, or the ops or whatever. Somebody got paid really, really good, Dr. Rogers, to perform this freaking well for YouTube, to make the people believe that a particular person is solely for R. Kelly. It doesn't take all of this to show your natural born black ass out on YouTube. It doesn't take to come out to want to fight and kill and destroy Sylvester Kelly. And when you get to that type of detrimental aspect of your life to do so, this ain't about Mr. Kelly with the way that he would portray it to be. No, this is something that turned into a deeper situation, a personal deeper situation, in my opinion. Just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Yeah. Catch that. It's just crazy, It's really crazy. This is a very sad situation. It's very sad. It's they make it hard to support them. They make it hard everything, and to make it, one person feels as if he's the only one that can show his support or show his love or show that. That's a red flag. Those are all freaking red flags, man. This is all red flags. Yeah, they boost him up. You right with that one though, Queen. They put the accolades on the wrong person. They give the accolades to the wrong freaking person. I mean, stories after stories after stories after stories, Dr. Rogers, and none of those stories pretty much had anything to do with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. They were mainly more stories about him, how he did this and how he did this, and I was there and I did this and I did this. I'm like, but you didn't drive the bus. You didn't do the accounting book, the bookings. You didn't work at the receptionist desk. You didn't punch a keyboard. You didn't do none of that. So I couldn't understand how the heck that he gained so much more accolades or popularity on YouTube over Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. It just became sickening to me. It was just very sickening. What up, Butterfly? What up, Mac? What up, child? Casey, I see you guys. Let me speak to you guys. So, simply, everybody that's in the chat. Sherry, hey, you guys. Lady, what's up? What's up? So, I don't know. It's just crazy, but I just only brought this up, Dr. Rogers, because I noticed that he had did a premiere on the live that you did. But on that live that you did, that particular day, he was live as well. And in my humble opinion, he only takes these people lives just to see if you're going to be saying anything negative about him. If you come out to say that he wasn't there, that's going to open up a verbal fight. If you say that you anything negative, you put yourself in the limelight to have a verbal fight with him, because he makes it imperative that everyone that Mr. Kelly is supposedly been having a camp of people. Why would you even want to put accolades on yourself saying that I was there or I was in there and I know this and I can do that? That just, who would do something like that? If anything, I was running from, I ain't never been there. I don't know what y'all talking about. I ain't finna, no, it was just crazy. It was just crazy. And that you did, Dr. Rogers. You tried, and I saw you try it. I saw you if you guys came for similar reasons for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. What caused this individual to know the people, with doctor, none of these people out here? Why is he the only one that went left, Dr. Rogers? Why is he the only one that became the bigger alleged spokesperson for Mr. Kelly, but yet then attacks everybody? So, it just made me wonder, like, did Mr. Kelly give this dude this job? Did Mr. Kelly put Bookham in this position to have this job? Was Bookham there to watch all of you guys, Dr. Rogers? Was he put in place to find out who all of you guys were? All right, sorry you guys. I told you guys. Yep, I had my baby. I got the Nope, I'm back. I told you guys Coda was going to call me one more time. It was going to kick me out because she was up at the school. So You say it's a scammer actor. Like, I don't know, simply. I mean, do you get it? Do you guys get it? What turned Bookham to do totally different from what the second camp went in to help Mr. Kelly on, you know? I understand what you're saying with that, but something turned his behavior, Dr. Rogers. Something made him become bitter with, with most of you guys. He argued with the sisters. He went at phases. He went at you. He went at basically, I guess, all of the ladies. He had some things to say about Dr. Rice. He had some things now to say about, with Shabazz coming out. Everybody, every single body. So whose story holds the truth to it? With all of you guys coming from having some time spent with Mr. Kelly. Only you guys know that. The twins, yeah. He had to correct the Jen and Lindsay. He corrected everybody to his perception that had been around Mr. Kelly way longer than him. Way longer than him. How could that be? How could that be? How? How could he have all of a sudden ended up so upset with phases? I watched phases 1, phases 2, phases 3, all of them when he came out. And everything was shits and giggles with him on the phases show. Every single one. I'ma go here. I'ma go here. And Dr. Rogers, you hear this boy telling these stories, right? And I know at some point, like, you had to be scratching your head. You had to be like, wait a minute here. I'ma go here. But because you hear him on the phone with certain people making certain allegations to you, or you seen him down there, you as well came out and put validity that, okay, Mr. Kelly knows him to a certain extent, or he knows him, or he knows of him, or he came in there, and of course, like Mr. Kelly with his persona, as everybody says, he's this caring person. He accepts everybody, and he nicknames everybody, my son, or bruh, or uncle, or cousin. That I can believe. So I guess it's easy to say now, maybe his behavior is knowing that, since Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly is not about the nonsense, is this a person that he would continue to want to have in his camp as his friend, as his godson? He would want this type of immaturity around him. Now, this is just my opinion. This is the type of people that will absolutely get your behind caught up in all kind of mess. Or like you say, he just does it for his channel, the shits and giggles, because it's monetized and I can get paid off of it. Is it that? But then you have to ask yourself, well, who would want a friend like that as well? It still ties him into a bad character acting as a person. I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying so hard. I'm trying so hard. I can't see it, Dr. Rogers. I cannot see where Mr. Kelly will continue to do any acceptance as a godson, as a friend, or anybody. It will seriously, in my opinion, ruin Mr. Kelly's reputation. I've been hearing that he's this good person. He doesn't like these type of people around him. He doesn't like to get involved with this. He's not a drama person. He's privatized. He's this and that. He's this or that. But Huh? It's like, make it make sense. But he said that girl was 14, and it's not on his premiere video because he doesn't play it on there. He cut that part out. It's on the live that you were doing live because he was doing your video live. So not only does he take your video to use it once, he goes and does a premiere with it and uses it twice. You have to make sure that he hears what he hear out of it and things isn't said, in a negative way about him. That's just what I hear. It's just crazy, There still never was, and that's between like you and the sisters, but that part of with the sisters though, Dr. Rogers, that part was really, really crazy too. I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you say that that's your mentee and that's your my God daddy and all of this stuff, now you didn't roll with that the first way, right? But because you're angry with them now, you're gonna come out here and that ain't they sisters and and he got fooled by it all, right? Like, which side of the fence are you on? Sometimes when you say some things and it may look in the favor of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly and you are who you proclaim to be for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, it didn't look good for him to switch his story up. And I'm just gonna go and put that out there, whether if you feel like that you know the truth or not. Sometimes you just, like you say, doctor, sometimes you just got to go mind your own business. You done already put it out here. Now, how the hell did he even go tell Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, hey, I found out the truth? Because you said that, that they brought a picture in, and the picture was a man, and they showed this picture to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. But yet then, when you go to the other bloggers' channel, like Choke No Joke and a whole bunch of other people, even Bruce says that he don't know his daddy. But you said that the girls, the sisters brought in the pictures and they showed Mr. Kelly and somewhere he accepted it that's their dad and things went on from there, and Bookham saw it and he verified it. But then because he gets mad at them for whatever reason it was, because I don't think that it was clear out here about the reason why he got mad, right? But then he comes out to say that they're not his sisters. Did he go and tell Mr. Kelly that? Did he tell Mr. Kelly that exactly what he said? I made a mistake. Is he aware? Is Mr. Kelly that Bookham is now saying that he made a mistake about bringing all of these people, mainly the sisters, in there? Did he do that part? Probably not. Probably not. So you could see kind of where I'm going with this. Like, how does Mr. Kelly accept some person like this when everybody put this caring, private persona on Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? It's confusing. You said Bruce says that it was. Nobody likes him in the camp. So that's what got him mad. That's what got him out here putting all of these things out here in the atmosphere. Like a lot of things. The story, the narrative, when these people came out from having time with Mr. Kelly and being whatever kinfolks you chose to be for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, it didn't stay. It didn't keep Kelly in the highlight of the narration. The narration became all about him. It's all about him. And that's just crazy. It's just crazy, It's crazy how Dr. Rogers, you said that when with Dr. Rice, he researched you, Dr. Rice. How did it even ever come about even knowing your name? How did he even know about how to come your way to research you? Was it Bookham? Did Bookham tell Dr. Rice about you? How did Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly even learn about a doctor or Oh my God. Like how? How? Like this stuff is crazy. How did Dr. Rice even know how to look you up? How? To have you to say, after he figure out your credentials and say, well, okay, that this would be a good person, and she's qualified. You had to go on a whole interview with him. And can you said that he asked you if you would be able to, look over the sisters or walk through this alongside the sisters and everything, right? He did, but why did he feel that the sisters even needed someone with them? Why? And that's where everybody kept getting added in and added in. The Dr. Rice was the recruiter. The Booker was the recruiter. Everybody was just recruiting, just calling up strangers because you guys didn't know each other. Nobody. I guess I don't guess you guys knew each other, but somewhere some of y'all knew each other, like way before Mr. Kelly got arrested. And that's what I've been trying to say from the beginning, but it just now came out. Some of you people actually knew each other way before this man got arrested. He found you on the YouTube. Oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense right there. That makes a lot of sense. That made a lot of sense. Okay. So now, why did he feel that the sisters needed some type of protection or advocator with them? Why? We're talking about two grown women. We're talking about two grown women. They forgot to call Tyrone. You so silly. Is the outhouse real? I don't know, McDowell. I don't know. I just, and Dr. Rogers doesn't have to answer any of these. Like I say, I'm just thinking out loud, you guys. And as I wait for my baby to see, I'm up at the school. See, waiting on my baby. I'm at the school, waiting on my seat. I'm at the school. Wait, see, it says school. School. I'm at the school. Waiting on my baby. I hope she won her track meets, you guys, but I couldn't make it to this one because I had to work and they had to travel out on the bus. There's a lot of parents up here waiting on their children. They all lined up down there. They're waiting on their children. So, I don't know. But, like I say, Dr. Rogers, and I'm not trying to put you in no compromising position. I'm not trying to have this little bit of commentary, just regular discussion with nobody coming back and arguing with you. And I know you good at ignoring it anyway, so it don't even really matter. It's just that it's just still a lot of questions, and the only way to get to, just a little bit more understanding, of who's really supportive, who's really the fan, who's really you know really care for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Everybody is aware of the situation. It can turn out good and it can turn out bad. Either way this situation may turn for him, who are the people that can still have the love for him, even through the bad, even through the flaws that he may have had? And that's where I sit at, Dr. Rogers. I'm not no big fan, but I love to love people, right? And I could recognize the flaw of people and be like, okay, it's bad, but you know what? This is something that nobody, should have to lose an entire life from. It's with this situation that's going on. And so that's just my stance of where I am. I just sit as a backstage supporter out of love. out of love, showing that, you know what, no matter what was done, he had done, or whatever, can you still love a person for being the human that we are? Because we all still live in sin every freaking day. So I don't have that heart for hatred. I didn't have the heart for hatred with Jeffrey Dahmer, whatever, the guy name up there. I don't have the heart for hatred for people that comes out here and do murdering people day in and day out. I just don't have that heart for it. I just have to, like everybody said, I'll pray for you and hope that you can turn your life around. I'm not that person. That's why I think I can't never be on a juror either, Dr. Rogers. I have to find some way out of it every time, because I feel like that you'll get forced on there, summons on there by your government. And I get it that people say, it's part of our duty, right, to help serve the judicial system with picking out what's right and what's wrong, the truthfulness in a person. But I could never be that person on there. I found my way out of jury duty 3 goddamn times, and I'm going to keep doing it, because I'm never going to sit on there and ever judge anybody because the government does, put that position out there. If the government wants to do it, I don't think that it should ever be a juror panel nowhere. I think that this should just be something that is between the prosecution and the defense, and then that judge, since he is getting paid those big entirely bucks up there, you make the decision on a person's life. Don't put the humanity in a compromising position where now we got to sit up here and do the judging for you. God don't want nobody to judge, and I'm not finna throw God into this, but I could never do it, Dr. Rogers. I can't do it. When I say I'm gonna fall out, get sick, have a stroke, I'm gonna do anything. I'm gonna do any and everything for the rest of my life to never have to sit on a juror panel. I don't ever want to judge nobody for flaws. Let the judge do it. You get paid the big bucks. You do it. So, I don't know, it's crazy. And then, Dr. Rogers, with the Shabazz thing coming out, right? You don't have anything to do with that at all. But what did you think about that? I know you don't like to opinionate on quite a bit of things, but now you have this where the docuseries was supposed to be put out for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, but because a person, Bookham, hears that, well, he wasn't for sure, he didn't really like the way it was supposed to go, he opted out of the docuseries, right? But old Sylvia and some other people was supposed to be in this docuseries. Now, I ask myself, right? But I'm Mr. Kelly's mentee. I am his goddaughter. Wait a minute, I support Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Man, I'm going to be on that docuseries, and I'm going to tell everything that I know is good or that's positive about Mr. Kelly. So I'm asking myself, I'm like, well, why wouldn't he out of all the times that he would have to speak on something positive and good for Mr. Kelly, he opts out of doing it. All because he said that he thought that Mr. Shabazz would probably be on some shanky stuff, or he didn't think that it was gonna go in Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's favor. I'm like, you didn't even think about giving it a try. he was like, I opt out of it. I ain't opting out of shit. Bring them cameras and lights and action over here, cause I rock for Mr. Kelly, but he didn't want to be in that either. But that's what my baby says she hears somewhere. I'm like, I don't see you. I don't see no bus pulling up. But that's what got me, Dr. Rogers, and I went back. He put the premiere up. I had to go back and revisit your actual, the live and things on there. And he only used that, in my opinion, just to make sure that you wasn't going to out anything negatively about him. He got a big smile, of course, from your validation of him being there from the time that about him being there. So that made him smile. Same thing with a few other bloggers out here. If these bloggers come on and they can mention any time that OK Bookham is there, that's all he pretty much wants to hear. He doesn't care less, in my humble opinion, about anything else that you guys are saying at all, as long as you can validate his appearance down there. And that really sucks, because outside of that, none of you guys come out here to validate anything that he has literally done for Mr. Cali. Imagine that. All you guys do is just point him there. Well, what else did he do? What else did he do? What else? What else could he have done? Not no more than the next man. When it came to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly being indicted and going through a trial, it was only about what his attorneys can do. He knew that it could allegedly be some compromising a gossip or situation going on, being entangled with Doug Anton and Stephen Greenberg on these phone calls. You as a person with common sense and a person who says that they cares for a certain person, somewhere in the brain it should have knock open up there saying, well, no, I better not do this like this on the live out here, right? Because it can make people think one way or the other. And it caused a drastic distraction with that. And what happened with that's Dr. Rogers, that ended up in the paperwork on how Stephen Greenberg or Doug Anton was out here on the YouTube street and was commingling, entangling themselves with the bloggers. Yeah, that was in the paperwork. But see, he didn't see no wrong in that at all. He doesn't rebuttal on things like that. He didn't take accountability for that. Like, you want to practice as if you was a PI or a cartoon character, and you name it, all of the above. But he didn't even take any accountability for that. So let me see what Coda Bear at, you guys. Give me a second. Let me see. Hold on, you guys. Let me see if I think my other phone might be dead, because they're all coming out the door. You know, overall, it's just a sad, it's just a really, really sad situation. It's really sad that you had people like him and a few others that really came out to put themselves on a particular pedestal that just did not need to be there. It just did not need to be there. You can support Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly without all of the extras, making it about your, oh shoot, no, I don't want to call it dumb. About oneself, and that's just crazy. But it happened. You can't take back what has been done, and things has been done, and it's crazy. But for to sit up there and tell these people that, good Lord, the goddamn drunken Larry called you to tell you that, your boy is about to be arrested. Like, huh? No Will Eady called him. No Keith called him. No secretary of R. Kelly Camp called him. Nobody. Drunken Larry. It was Drunken Larry told him. And it was yet then when he went into action, It was yet then, And then, I get it. You look at my videos, and because I choose to just have a questionnaire to myself, now I'm going to be nappy-headed. Coda, I'm sitting in the parking lot and by the front door. So where are you? You by the front door? Yeah, I'm in the front doors. You looking out the door? Yeah. Okay, come on out. I'll come around. I'm not in the circle, but okay. All right, I see you. Bye. So I know she gonna get in the car and want to talk me to death about this her running, you guys, but It's just crazy, just because I'm having this conversation, and Dr. Rogers came in here, and quite a few of you other people are in here. Yeah, it's let me screenshot this, and let me go on my live and talk about a teeth, and talk about a hair, and talk about a toe, and y'all gonna sit here and tell me that this is the type of person, Dr. Rogers, that Mr. Kelly choose to rock with, like this right here. No, this is a dangerous person, because if this person has the guts and glories to do this to all of these people that were out here that try to support Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, then guess how I have to look at him, Dr. Rogers? He'll do it to Mr. Kelly. He'll do it to Mr. Kelly too. He'll do it to him. So all of that riff-raffing, and that's my guy, and I'll die for my guy, and I'll do this for my guy. But yet then I'm going to come on here and have all... Oh, hold on. All right. Did you win? I'm on my live too, so.
Well, I'm sitting in the front.
You can't get in the front, because ain't no room up here for you. Whatever.
Fine, I'll sit on.
Yeah, it's okay. Come on. She's like, I gotta sit in the front. They all say happy birthday. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Coda say thanks for the birthday. Happy birthdays, you guys. What? Y'all was in the rain?
Oh yeah.
You ran in the rain.
Oh yeah.
Did you win?
Both my races.
Good job, girl. Go, Coda. I'm telling y'all, she gonna be a Jackie Joyner Kersee, y'all. She gonna be bad. She gonna be bad. So, I don't know. If this is, Dr. Rogers, if you know what, I have to honestly say this. If this is the behavior that, that is out here to represent Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, and if there is some 100% truth to Mr. Kelly recognize this type of behavior, or this person as my godson, or this or that, it's like, to be honest with you, like, if it's true, like, man, I can't even rock with Kelly like this, man. Like, this is what, this one right here, I would seriously, like, be putting myself in, like, like that. Like, nah, I can't get that. Kelly, this one? Oh no. Oh, no. No. Then he's not choosing his people as wisely as one would have expect after hearing the type of person that he is. So, I don't know. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying then, Dr. Rogers. That's all I'm saying. And so now, after seeing most of your commentary, and how you say that you have to remove yourself from the drama, or this or that, and the way you went down to try to connect with Mr. Kelly, and letting him know that, okay, this is this spiritual battle that you have to fight, and only he knows how, and he has to choose how he's going to fight it. You only threw out a recommendation part about it, like, let's look at it in this era. This one right here, this might be this, deal with this, right? But you're one of a couple of people that has spoken to that level of knowledge with Mr. Kelly. I've never heard Bookham come out and say that he had any of these type of conversations like that with him. And that's just weird. What advice did he have for Mr. Kelly? What? None? What type of support did you see, Doctor? What type of support? I don't see the mental support. I don't see, the physical support, yeah, because he was out here trying to fight everybody. Like, how do you fight people, Dr. Rogers, that you really don't know? How do you fight people based off of opinions and speculations? How? Like, that's not normal. That's not normal. It's becoming normal behavior because of the way our culture has changed over the this last century. I guess I understand that, but I I don't see it, Dr. Rogers. I'm always appreciate you. With the validity of making everybody aware that, okay, he knows of him, and he was there, he was on his phone call, and woo woo woo. But I can't even understand with the behavior that everybody is seeing from Bookham. Why was he, I guess, not knowing him like a brother, like a sister, like a cousin, like a real relative that you done grew up with, not knowing him. I don't think any of you guys really knew of his intentions of being on those phone calls or being around Mr. Kelly. I may forget it. I might as well just say it, because I'm already talking. You know, I I don't see him being there, Dr. Rogers, on behalf of the fully 100% of supporting Mr. Kelly. And there it is. And I said it. I don't see it. And you want to talk about a mole in the camp? That's what I see out here. Coming from him, I think that he got in there to get as much as information as he can, sent by God knows who, paid by God knows who. But to come out here to deliberately tear down and fight with everybody who was trying to support Mr. Kelly, that just became a red flag for me. Had he had the same optimistic views that you may have had, or phases to the next, just doing the regular Q&As and inviting people over, and the channel is calm and not vigorous, just crazy, then maybe I can look at that person a little bit different. But I can't look at him like that. I think that all of you guys ended up sharing information to this individual that you probably should have not shared at all. I think all of y'all was set up. It's not funny, Dr. Rogers, but I think all of y'all. He makes it, in my opinion, his purpose to be there. He makes it his purpose to have you on recordings. He makes it his purpose to get down there and take and share his pictures with everybody. It's like all of you guys, including Mr. Kelly, has been had. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm only basing my opinion off of my analysis of what I have seen over these last, coming up now, 3 years. That's just me. Sucks. Even he can't even read exactly what the paperwork states and mean about Don Russell. He can't even do that right. I'm sitting here literally listening to this guy twist every freaking story up. Let's talk about the Enquirer story. Dr. Rogers, Texas Black Diamond, because I see you in here. Let's talk about that for a second before I get off of here, right? Let's talk about that. The story says in there that Don Russell got somewhere in touch with Dylan Howard, and Dylan Howard and this other man, they was already some type of crooked ass people on knowing how to open up some shell ass place. But that story went on about how Mr. Kelly needed some money to keep his lights on, to keep his bills on, and rent paid and all that stuff. So they was trying to get at least $1 million under the table so that nobody would know. Made sense to me. Was it wrong? Probably so. But it made sense to me to do it that way, with knowing how the government was seizing every freaking dime that Mr. Kelly was getting his hand on, or had his assets, everything. They made it intentionally where this man was not going to get hold of a freaking penny to have money to try his freaking case. They did that. But he sits over there and read this stuff, and Don Russell was up on the crooked scam and stuff, and he was going to take the money. But he never show you the facts of that. Where's the recording? He likes to record everything. Where's the facts of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly coming out saying, well, y'all know what? Don Russell was about to shank me for my money, dealing with Dylan over there and blah, blah, blah. Where is that at? Did Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly tell Bookham to come out here to tell everybody that Don Russell was the Don the Con? Did he do that? Because it's clearly showing that Don the Con, of what they call him, is in all of these videos walking Mr. Kelly up out of a jail, or pushing a guy back, or traveling behind him when he gets released with the helicopters up above. All of that at the cigar bar. And these people out here gonna sit here and say that Don Russell did all of this shit to come back to take from Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, allegedly, money that he didn't even have in the first place. They says that Mr. Kelly is broke. Oh, but Bookham puts it out here that no, he meant take from him by setting these investments or putting his music out to help raise money. It makes no sense to me. It made no sense to me at all. It made no sense to me. That's not what how that Inquirer paper read with the way Bookham reads it. It's not. It clearly reads, and it clearly shows where that man was apparently trying to help Mr. Kelly, whether if it was under the table, over the table, around the table, however it was. But the people bagged off the story, bagged off the deal. They said that there was no way that they were going to be able to do such and such a, because of such and such and such and such. And they didn't, all of that. He couldn't even read that freaking paperwork right. He couldn't, because of his anger towards Don Russell. And I'm gonna say, I'm coming in, boo. I'm gonna say it again, that the anger, I know, but I'm burning up too, but I have to defrost the window. You're angry at this man because this man apparently somehow got a gem, as he says, from a brother or a cousin, Don Russell said, to open up for Mr. Kelly to come there. The whole story is entangled and messed up about the Jasmine thing, but he want to twist the story over there, and where Don Russell been knowing Jasmine forever and ever, when it clearly says that the people out here has says that, well, no, he started this fan bus. She caught the mega bus down there, but now he wants to put it out there like he didn't even know Jasmine apparently that long. But then he doubles up his story, right, by saying, well, how does Don Russell know, how much money or she need this, or her attitude? Well, Jasmine don't talk to people like that, and Jasmine don't do this. So I have to use the same question on Bookham that he intentionally tried to use on the public about Don Russell. Well, how do you know how her attitude is, or if she had money, or if she did this? He had to know something more about him, about this girl. It just didn't make sense about that. But his anger did, come forcefully, fiercely on Don Russell after that episode. And then he tried to make her go home and said, so since now all of the situation came down with the Michael Williams and the Arline, Richard Arline, and then the Don Russell, now is, I'm gonna put the narrative out here of how Don Russell knowing Cass Jones. And he just keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And you mean to tell me that Mr. Kelly put Bookham out here to be up on some private investigating things, or did he not? That's where the whole freaking the main question is. Did he put him out here to do this type of behavior, or did he not? Or did he not? As I'm sure by now he has to be clearly aware of his behavior. Let's not talk about the private investigator who did come out, that Mr. Harrison guy. He went at him. He went at him. He went at everybody. Every single body. That makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. None. And let's just say, hypothetically say, since he wants to put out here that Don Russell then hired Dubosky Gun and DJ Tyson, right? To do what? Because out of all of their videos that they put out, you don't see neither one of those guys doing anything that was harmful to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. Nothing. Let's just say hypothetically that Don Russell hired those two guys, according to Booker. Out of all of their videos that they put out here, what is it that you see Dubosky Gun or DJ Tyson doing? Did they send them girls in there? Did they go and steal the money out of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's account? Did DJ Tyson and Dubosky Gun do any of those things? Because I don't see it on the YouTube. I don't see it. What did they do? Did they send any tapes in against Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? What did they do? He hired you? It's crazy as hell to keep saying some shit like that. Like, what exactly? This is the part that Bookham just doesn't say. What exactly is it that Don Russell hired these boys on to do to hurt Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? He'll come out and say that, oh, it was the tape, it was the recording that DJ did. Oh, it was the bad protesters and everything, or stuff about what Dubosky done. Well, how does that hurt Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly during his trial? What did they do? What could Don Russell have possibly paid all of these people to do anything to hurt Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? I personally don't see it. I just don't see it. I'm not, no, baby. I work for my own, baby. No. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. But, you know, like I say, and these people want to say that, I'm not going to, that's wrong. Let me retract that. But he wants to say that he's a mentee. He's a godson. I'll go to war. I'll die for this man. You wouldn't have to go to war and die for anybody if you would not have that type of behavior that you have. You wouldn't have to. If you were humble, like they say Mr. Kelly was, if you were more private, if you were more kind, you know, if you didn't have demonic behaviors, you wouldn't even be thinking about needing to go to war for him. You would be more humble with accepting opinions and speculations and allegations, because those are not going to hurt Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Words are not going to hurt him. They're not. It was the actions of what people done to him. The actions of the people that was on that prosecution stand. It was. I don't know. I know Doug Anton disappeared. That was his ace coon boom. That was the person who he helped raise the money with, of the defense fund. But no, Doug Anton did not come back out to rest assured that this reserve, of where the money was stored at, was put up for the next attorney to retrieve it and use it to however they need to use it towards the case. That wasn't done. It was just left out open in the air. Doug Anton was gone. Poof. No more talking about the case at all. None. Now he's at the point to where he wants to blame that there was another defense fund before the one that he created. But why is that even an argument if it was all a defense fund for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? But he's got to intentionally show you guys that, oh my God, this is something that Don Russell set up, and he took the money. He took the money to put it towards his goddamn trial. The trial on his trial. But he can't show you proof at that. But he says that he is a PI. He can get all of this information. He can pull all of you people IP addresses. but he can't pull accurate information based off of the allegations and speculations that he put on other people. Don't make no sense. He says that Don Russell stolen all the money. Then why haven't you go and pull Don Russell information to put up on your screen to prove that Don Russell done drained out Mr. Callie's bank account, which he also said that Mr. Callie and Donnell Russell had the account somewhat together. Donnell Russell had access to a man's account. Mr. Callie put a stranger, a terrorist, or a compromising person on his bank account. Donnell Russell told everybody that he went to the bank with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, but that wasn't a suitable enough story. That wasn't valid enough for everybody. They didn't want to believe Don's Russell. He's telling you himself, I've been to the bank. It was then when I found out, he didn't even realize that he had less than what he thought he had up in there. He didn't know that. But yet then he has a stranger beside him with access to his bank account, his livelihood. His livelihood. But Bookham tells you that he didn't even know Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kelly didn't even know Donnell Russell like that. That's what he said on his live, which made absolutely no fucking sense to me. Excuse my French. None. What now? Is Mr. Kelly blind? Is he blind now? He didn't recognize what Donnell Russell looked like after bringing him to the gym or after walking him out of a courthouse and going into the bank with him? He didn't recognize him? He didn't recognize that man enough for Bookham to come out here to say he didn't even know him like that. He didn't know him like that for him to go and get access to a gym for them to come to have a ball. See, he took that basketball story and he took that story off of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly in his narration about Donnell Russell and Jasmine. He turned that story into about how good of a basketball player he was against Donnell Russell, and he didn't like the way Donnell Russell was doing what he was doing up in there, so he stood up to Donnell Russell and said, what the fuck you gonna do? Is you gonna stop? You gonna do this? And Donnell Russell had his head down. See, that was more important for people to know. That part about him. It was about him. He turned that whole basketball story. Huh? Not right now. Was that fireworks? It better be. Better drop.
Don't sound like that.
You better drop and roll. Yeah, I'm getting. Crazy, right? Crazy. Everything. He literally has turned every freaking story that made some sense out here, that appeared to be in support for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, about him. He just took on all the shine. He moved all of y'all out the way, Dr. Rogers, because he felt that all of you guys turned on him. The Him Too girls, gone. Gone. They all gone. How is it that a second camp comes forth to support Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, that the second camp is now all gone, which is the YouTube second camp? First, you got the first camp that scattered on him because the allegations came out. They didn't want, they got to separate themselves. They didn't want themselves involved. They didn't want to be questioned about nothing or anything that went on their quiet little ways. So that's the first camp, the ones close to him. They separated for a little bit, for whatever. That's just my opinion. Then you had the second camp started out here. And his second camp fell apart on him. The second camp fell apart. Somewhere in the second camp, Dr. Rogers and Texas Black Diamond, somebody did not fit. You can't tell me with the second camp, which was Him Too and all of the other supporters that took the fan bus down there on behalf of him setting it up and everything, from the underground Facebook page and the sisters and phases and all these people. You mean to tell me that All these people has fell out, and Bookham is on a one-man train support for Mr. Kelly. Something ain't right. When there's an oddball in the factor, you know what you usually have to do to that oddball, Texas Black Diamond, Dr. Rogers? It's like doing that math problem where you got the 11 at the top and 7 at the bottom. So you got to borrow with the 1 still sitting up there, because now that 1 is the oddball because you had to borrow. So whatever the number is at the bottom, them the number of the people that went on to support in the right way, but that oddball is still sitting at the top up there, that number 1, which means that it's been used and it's no good no more. It's no more good anymore. There's nothing else that you can do with that 1 that was up there that you had to borrow off of. Nah. It's always what they say, one bad seed, Johnny bad apple seed, if I'm saying that right. I'm not too good with all them goddamn little funny quote things like that. It's always one. It's always one that got to try to outdo the other one, or the others, but ended up being the bad one. Yeah. 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 And I'm sure that this question that I asked has to be a question inside of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's head. What happened to all of the people that I thought that was going to be together? You mean to tell me that they all separated? I thought that they were all down here. I have shared my stories. I have talked to this person. I've asked if this person can do this for me or pray for me or, but now none of y'all are together. And it's sad. It really sucks. It's sad and it sucks. Sad and it sucks. I have not been looking at the chat for a minute. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm always like, either you for him or you're not. Through his flaws and everything. Through his good side and the flaws. Either you with him or you're not. You can be with him out of the love for being one of your human brothers on this earth. Knowing that some shit's going to happen. Not just with him, with all of us. Every single last one of us. But to sit and to judge on it, it's a bad position to be in. It's a bad position to be in. Never want that freaking position. You just pray for it and hope that a person can do better. Mistakes are going to happen. They happen. But that's just my opinion. And humbly as I say it, I just don't see it anymore. I think that this guy is now just a big old distraction dealing with anything with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. All he knows how to do is signify on people, break up. Now he's, in my opinion, got his little humble coat over there. If you go over here, you can't come over here. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, who listens to people that bark orders at them like that over a freaking YouTube channel? That's crazy. Who bow downs to a person like that? You can support without having yourself compromised and put in a position where you got to sit there and be like, well, did this guy just tell me where you can't and I can't, and all over a freaking YouTube channel? That's some crazy shit. Yeah, I'm sure Dr. Rogers, he's very, yeah. As he should. As he should. Because this YouTube stuff right here is the least of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's problems. He got way big problems than this stuff right here. He really does. He's got big major problems, and is beating his cases right now. Beating his cases. That was hilarious though, MacDime. 1 minute you can tell the world out here whether it was 20,000, it was this, that, and this, that, and who nominated him. That got me too though, MacDime. Like who nominated him to even? Well, I'm checking with the lady right now. And she don't send it back, and I said that it has to go back today. Like, who authorized all of this power to this man? Who gave this man this power to be? Who did this stuff? Who? Mr. Kelly came out and he said, trust the process. He said that he did not need anything. He did say that. But you have people that's so smart to where you all know that if you're going to get incarcerated, yes, there's going to be commissary. Everybody could have just went off and found out about, okay, well, we'll send them some money and just done it without this whole group click thing about sending the freaking money in. Post up his Western Union and be done with it. But this boy came on talking about, hey, that Mr. Kelly needed a basketball, some Louis Vuitton slippers, and cases and cases of water. And you know good goddamn well, Dr. Rogers, that did not make any sense. You know that that's not how the jail system works. You could be the president taking your ass up in there. Well, not the president, because the president probably would have got the Spalding basketball and the Louis Vuitton slippers and all that stuff. So maybe so. But coming in on the charges that he came in on, do you guys really think that they were going to supply Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly with all of these special privileges that Bookham was screaming out that he thought that Mr. Kelly should have? Really? That's a red flag for me right there. Nah, you pressing too hard. You pressing way too hard. I got to get ready to get up out of here, you guys. That was just something that was just weighing on me, my who, what, when, where, and whys. There's no attack on Dr. Rogers. Dr. Rogers knows how to avoid the drama and everything. But she put her story out. You guys have to go back and listen to it very, very well. Just listen to it, you know. There were some things that was done that made her bag up. That's her prerogative. That's her privacy. For her own reasons of why she did so. I don't know them all. She hasn't put them all out here. There's reasons why a whole lot of people has bagged up off of social media supporting Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. But when you got to sit here and steady watch the accolades of a person, in my opinion, that should not be receiving the type of accolades that he's searching for off of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's pain. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying pain like a depression pain. I'm saying pain as in his narrative, his charges, because those are painful. I'm saying it in that way. Dr. Rogers going to have to throw me a word out there. I ain't with all it. I don't know all they've got the big old long, medical words and stuff like that to cover that up. But that's just how I feel. Yeah, you plead the fifth. You plead the fifth. I just don't understand it, Dr. Rogers, and I think a lot of us out here who is just innocent bystanders just didn't understand. How did all of you guys break up? What broke all of you guys up? Who was his second camp, his second stream, his second leg, apparently, that went down there to get to know him, to support him in the ways that you guys know how to support him, but yet to be separated now out here on the YouTube street. There's no strong first stream out here on the YouTube street. It's only fighting. Something tore you guys apart. Somebody said something. Somebody knows what tore his Mr. Kelly assumedly team that he thought that he had apart. Because I'm pretty sure he thought that he had one with the way that, everybody was going down there to see him or to speak to his attorneys and things like that. I'm pretty sure that this man thought that he really had a good second stream to support him out here, to change the narrative out here. Don Russell was changing the narrative. Pretty much. He was telling everybody what happened to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's money. Nobody wanted to know. They wanted to hear Bookham's story about how Don Russell is stealing money. They didn't want to hear about how Linda Mitch still probably owns RSK LLC and still probably getting money. They don't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear who was selling all of these freaking loan lawsuits. They didn't want to hear about him talk about the money trickling down from this person writing this. He didn't want to hear about how Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly music, could have helped him, and if certain people can get together and have it put out over in Africa or over in Dubai. He needed money. Nobody wanted to hear that. But yet then to have friends out here that was willing to do and take a risk on some shit like that to bring him in some money, how could you even say whether if these Don Russell or any other people was, I'm say Don Russell, was stealing all of this money when, did you check with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly first? How do you even know that Mr. Kelly didn't have a conversation with Donnell Russell before he even made it, for Booker made it to the gym or any other place? How does he even know that? What's private with one person, as it's told out here with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, that's between that person and that person. They said that he speaks to people privately, individual. So how could you be out here putting out all of these allegations and speculations about one person if Don Russell has stolen and did all of these things and he's the reason that Mr. Kelly got the federal indictment? I see the obstruction of justice up in there, but the man came out and said remorsefully that he regrets it. He's sorry that he did this. Things didn't work out as planned. Wasn't his intentions, and I'm going to leave that right there because I don't know. But I think from what I'm feeling, because now I'm going to my emotional part of me, what I'm feeling, I think that a lot of people probably should halt on the way you speak on it, on the Don DeCon. Until you can verify whether if Mr. Kelly and Don Russell actually had a mutual and a private conversation on how some things should be, can be, would be, all of the B's. I think people might want to fall back on some of that, because then you're going to end up eating and swallowing your words. Don't think just because you see the indictment out there and, Don Russell did this and Don Russell did that. Well, then speak on the other people, because he gave you the list of names. And after I say this, then I'm going to go. I'm going to jump on over here to Barry Hankerson and Aaliyah's mother. I'm going to talk about that for a second, right? Because everybody says, Aaliyah was, Mr. Kelly married Aaliyah. He married Aaliyah. Let's think about how Barry Hankerson and didn't have to come out here to put charges on Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, and neither did his mother. Neither did her mother. I'm sorry, Aaliyah's mother. Neither one of them had to do so. You know why? This is just my humble opinion on it. Why not continue and using Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly? He was good to them with steady bringing in the money. If we can continue to robbing him, then guess what? We can get at Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly at this. They can make more money off of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly than they would putting him in jail themselves. They could not continue to receive the freaking money. But that's just my opinion. Maybe that's why Aaliyah's mother never came out. Maybe Barry Hankerson was chopping her off every freaking crooked ass dime that he can continue to take from Mr. Kelly. Oh, well, you only made this so and so much. Here's Mr. Kelly, so we gonna write you this check. But they done kept over 80% of his freaking money. People even think about it like that. Maybe that's why they didn't come out. Because to Barry Hankerson, Mr. Kelly was way better profitable keeping him out here. People think about that? They had all opportunities to come out here and put charges on Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly for marrying or dating an underage freaking goddamn female who everybody knows that Mr. Kelly ain't the only one that she dated. Mad respect to Aaliyah, but I'm sitting here looking at a whole bunch of pictures with Aaliyah in a freaking Tubi tank top with little knockers on her chest with some darn Jay-Z and the Damon Dash boy fighting over. Are you kidding me? So I couldn't get down with that story like that. I couldn't be out here because it's hard to be biased and then unbiased. So you got to just fall freak back off of a story. You got to fall back off of it. Like, it is what it is. But I just want to put my opinion on how I seen, or what I think about this whole Aaliyah thing. That's just how I think about it. They can continue to make more money off of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. They can continue to cheat him out of all of his freaking money. So why would we come out here to put charges on him? No. We just going to keep taking his money. Make him pay for it that kind of way. That's just my opinion. Whether if Mr. Kelly felt that way about it or not, until he finally realized that, oh, let me get the hell away from him. Found a way from him. He found himself away from him. But then what came after that? Because everybody likes to talk about these elites out here. Then the elites start dropping dimes. Boom, 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 boom. There's your elite part of the setup of it. We got to do this. We got to take them out. Mr. Kelly don't want to wear no skirt no more. Mr. Kelly don't want to be in part of this thing. Went his own separate way. Oh, he don't? Okay, well, we finna do this to him. We finna do this to him. Don't get it twisted, though, because there was a third goddamn scenario with this stuff with Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly as well. It's a fact. Mr. Kelly did not have to date as many females as he had chose to date, but it's a free world, it's a free country. As long as it's within the law, you can't tell and judge a man on how many females or whatever that he can date. No. But because now he chose to have the delightfulness of a female in his presence, right? Whether if it's 5, 10, 50, 20. Hell, Flavor Flav did it on a goddamn TV show, broadcasted just like the Playboy did. Sure did, just like it. All the enticing and everything with these women, with the breasts and the whatever. And I like you. Okay, you like me. I like you. You gonna be with me? Okay, I'm gonna be with you. It ain't nothing new, but our black culture made it now seems as if this some new ass shit. That's what was fucked up about this whole thing. We made it seem as if it was new. And we all know that this stuff been going on for centuries. But because it was Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, oh, this is new. This isn't new. Give me a break with that shit. That shit was funny as hell, though. Everybody acted brand new with that, right? It's crazy. But yet then, man, I can go on and on and on tonight because I feel like I'm on one. That's just how I feel. It's crazy. It sucks, you know. It's crazy and it sucks. I pray for him. I do pray for Mr. Kelly. I do pray that he gets up out of this situation. It sucks that all of these young ladies have come out and the docuseries had come out. A lot of people not even thinking about it. What if? Let's think about the what if. What if the docuseries never even got a chance to come out? What if Don Russell was successful with that and you guys got to never see it? Would you give him accolades then? Would you give Don Russell accolades then? If he was able to pull that off and they decided, you know what, well, we can't produce this right now. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Kelly would have had his share of a docuseries first. The Shabazz says that he went after Mr. Kelly's docuseries first. But since Mr. Kelly got arrested, he was unable to do so. So he went on and got Angelo and them shit on deck first. But just what if it would have happened that way? What if it would have happened that way? Would you have been on Don Russell nuts then? Would you have had the cheerleader pom-poms out there? Yeah, you probably would. But because Don Russell got in trouble, got himself caught, then you got Bookham coming out, putting the story together after the media dropped it out there. Oh, you know, he hired all of these people, you know, the Michael Airline and Michael Williams and the Richard Airline and the Cass Jones was all involved and woo. I look back at this shit saying, well, damn, excuse my French, my nigga. If you were so close to Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly and you was the mentee and you was the godson, why ain't you known about all this fucking molding and crooked ass shit then? Why didn't you try to tip some shit off to have this shit stopped in the first place? Why wasn't the police called in by you knowing about it way before it happened? If you gonna be around him, You gonna snoop up on some shit like that. Wait a minute. What he's saying over there? Because you in the house, right? You spent a lot of time over in Johnson Creeks. Ain't nothing tipped you off over there? Nothing? Bookham only speaks out after the math. After all of this shit done went down. He has no idea that none of this shit is going down. But he claims that he's a fucking PI. Can't even figure out the shit before it happened? Nah. I'm not even done talking about Mr. Harris, that other private investigator that came out. Because I'm lost with that one too. Dr. Rogers, if you still in here. Texas Black Diamond, if you still in here. I'm still lost with that one too. Because he said he was coming out to do the investigation on behalf of this whole defense fund and everything. Then all of a sudden he disappeared. You ain't hear nothing else about it. What was his conclusion? What investigation did Mr. Harris ever do that helped played out as a part of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's case? Who was he? Why did he come? What importance did he really have? But however that played out, Bookham comes out. He been knowing Mr. Harris. He knows him. Bookham had been knowing everybody. Let him tell it. But he couldn't even solve the freaking whole fucking puzzle about who actually is setting Mr. Kelly up and who's not. He don't know until after the stories drop, until somebody put it up on the letterscope or whatever. Doing the exact same things that everybody else is out here doing. But he put himself up on this pedestal to make it feel as if he was the first man to the feed. He was the first man to the feed. Made no sense. No. But yeah, he's the man. Bookham's the man. Bookham's the man. And I'm not taking a shine away from him. Y'all follow him. Y'all follow him. It is what it is. YouTube is his business. He opened up his office, set up shop, got new cameras and a lean back chair, and he good. That's all it took out here to do. Put the little dollar sign at the top, at the bottom, along with the PayPal and the Cash App. That's what we do out here on the YouTube street. So you can't be mad at him on that part. Everybody does. It is what it is. But what was actually Mr. Harris' real position out here? Or was that a whole complete episode show too? Was that a whole complete episode show too? But let's move forward, because this is the third trampoline part of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's life. First you got the elites up there. All his money been gone. The Barry Hankersons and all these people. The Cheryl Max. All these people in this man's damn lifestyle. Now we down to the trampoline part. Oh my Lord. Mr. Kelly is dating some girls whose parents somehow fell out. First they wanted to do business with him, then they can't do no business with him. Then one of them doing this, and you got a whole nother Bobby man came out telling about the Tim Savages. Tim Savages comes out, talks about the Ashanti McGee's who got 50 goddamn mug shots. She shouldn't have even been up in Mr. Kelly's camp in the first goddamn place, if you ask me. Who the hell was not pulling these people goddamn resumes in interviews? That's the problem that puzzles me when it came to Mr. Kelly. Truth be told, Bookham, you was the mentee. Explain to us how the hell a person with 50 mug shots gets up inside Mr. Kelly's a camp over there. How does that happen? How does that happen? Security? Aren't you on your security, or were you not around at the time? See, because if you were there, and the hooping and hollering that you're doing for Mr. Kelly out here on his defense is the same defense that you should have had for him if you were around him, saying, no, not that one. We pulled that one. She won't be a good one. Nobody did that. You didn't do that shit. You didn't do that type of shit. No. You didn't do that. But that's just my opinion. But then here comes the parents. Things ain't working out. Oh, you kidnapped my child. Oh, they got Stockholm Syndrome. Oh, you coercing them. Oh, you doing this to them. Oh, they up on the train throwing rocks at the goddamn county building down there. They were everywhere. Cameras everywhere. Off of this goddamn Jim Darragata story, because of how he feel about the black culture girls. All of a sudden they cared about the black culture girls, when truth, reality, they solicit these black girls more than the black culture, more than Mr. Kelly solicited them. They solicited these girls themselves. The white culture did. Jim Darragata did that shit. And so the story goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper. Shabazz comes along. He wants to do his filming, get his accolades because he's a publicist or whatever he is. So that's going to help keep him in the limelight for his entrepreneuring, career. He clearly tells everybody he ain't here for none of these people. That's what he says. He wants these goddamn stories. It wasn't about the health or the mental state of the person. But the black culture man wanted these stories. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a fuck. It was going to help him. He didn't care. He been doing this for years. But here comes the parents. Here comes the Lifetime docuseries. All this stuff. You got bad police officers going into rooms and shit with IDs saying that they're 18 and this or this or that. Here come Michael Avenatti. All this twisted up ass bullshit, man. It's crazy. And it was then when I saw this docuseries. When I seen the presidency, when I'm seeing all of these videos of these young ladies out here, when I got to sit up here, Dubosky played a video the other day, or maybe it was today, I'm not sure, with the one Faith Rogers on there. Oh, I just gonna, how are you gonna be, what's up next for you in your life? Oh, I'm getting ready to start my clothing lining. Clothing lining? Your clothing lining? Oh, okay. It took her to go through what she's going through at her fucking age to now want to start a goddamn clothing line. Your mom and daddy didn't have that idea for you before you even hooked up. Maybe if you were already in a business, entrepreneuring yourself and not being so fast trying to be entangled with a man who said that he loves all women. When you walked up into that home over there, you noticed that it was probably more than one girl up in there. You should have had a problem with it then and thought about doing a goddamn clothing line. And I ain't shitting on her clothing line, but I just thought that, hey, now you want to do a clothing line. Now we all want to advocate for women. Advocate to tell us what? Women been out here advocating for women since I can remember of 1980. I'm going to put it there because I was old enough now to watch it, to see what was going on. I was old enough to see and watch how these women walked in the Martin Luther King walk in 1968. I watched these women with long dresses on and blouses on. I watched how Malcolm X's wife came on TV with him fully clothed. I watched how Louis Farrakhan women sit up in his congregation. I don't know what you call them people, but with fully clothing on. I watched this. So I learned from this. It was taught to us. It's being taught to us day in and day out. If more women would digest themselves, the system, use their digestive systems and say, that's the right thing to do, some of this is the wrong thing to do, then maybe you wouldn't have to bring your ass out here to want to advocate on some stuff that's been advocating for 100 freaking years after you get yourself caught up in a situation. See, these women, you ignore the process of how to protect yourself, of the do's and the don'ts, or how to make the right decisions. We were taught that already. So is it the other half of the world, females' fault that you put yourself in a compromising situation to now all of a sudden you want to do a non-profit organization for what? Which you know that's going to bring in you some money too, because you're basically asking for somebody to be a donor to your correlation. For what? Crazy, y'all. I'm sorry, I had another phone call, but I'm gonna end this because I just had a moment today. I had some questions and thoughts to myself. That's it. That's all. I'm glad that Dr. Rogers came in. Thank you, Dr. Rogers, because just to elaborate on some things that I had to say. It's great to see you also as well, Texas Black Diamond. But this whole thing and how this boy has did a 360, reversing everything to just fit his narrative. They started out as a group. They started out as a second stream support for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. But he is the only one that's out here with all of the pointing the fingers, and it was you. He's the only one that has the best support system for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. That's a red flag. Anytime you come out here and try to take away Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's support team without even knowing all of these individuals out here on these YouTube streets, it's a red flag. You're trying to tear down something, and it's wrong. Red flag. You put red flags all over. He put red flags all over himself. All over himself. If Bookham was so right and righteous about what he was doing and was inside Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly's camp for good reasons and good purposes, good discipline, this group would still be out here as his second string, putting out positive things about Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, ignoring the freaking fights, ain't finna kill you, ain't finna call your mama, ain't finna pull your IP, or none of that stuff up. None. His group that's separated, that second stream, you don't see them doing that. Why you don't see him two girls doing this shit? The same shit that he did. They loved Mr. Kelly. They went down to support him. Why you don't see Dr. Rogers out here doing this? Why you don't see Phases to the Next Level? She was down there. Why you don't see the sisters over here doing the same shit that he's doing? Because he's doing the right way, right? But if he's doing the right way, then all of these other people did it the wrong way? Is that what y'all telling me? All of these other people who went down, who got to know the attorneys, who got to see Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, all of them people are doing things the wrong way. Is that what y'all saying? And he's the only person out here that is doing things the right way in honor of supporting Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. Give me a break. Give me a break. That's just not possible. That's just not possible. That's just not possible. That's a manpower. Bookham could sit out here and tell you everything about what everybody did, all the way down from the spitting fire to the to Blockbender to the cousin Levi. You said that he wasn't the cousin. You got angry at him and you blurted that out. How you gonna clean up some shit like that? Is he is or is he ain't? But we got to still be comeback friends because you and I are doing the same agenda. Talking shit, taking names, and beating ass, and writing up fucked up paperwork and sending it to God knows where. But that's just my opinion. No, he does not. He should not. He should not, Lisa. He should not. But as accountability, and because we know as a moral thing, you know what? And I'm going to always say it. I call time served on Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. I call time served on him. He's received enough discipline, especially after the charades of this docuseries. Everybody's done benefit off of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. And Bookham, it's not just Donnell Russell, who you allegedly has stolen from him or done this or did this. It's a whole heap of names who you should be calling out, and you refuse to do so. Start at the top of the goddamn chain master up there. Don Russell dropped some hell of a freaking names out here. Nobody wants to hear it. He said that Greenberg may need it to be replaced. He said that. He said that they may need it to be replaced. And look what happened out here. Oh my God. They got replaced. Off of a freaking Curcio situation that's going on. Off of that. Off of a whole Curcio. You have the attorneys that could not even do right or be right. Drunken Larry came out here and compromised a whole lot of mindset. He did. He did. Thanks, Priscilla. Thank you, Priscilla, with that. But that's, like I say, it's just my opinion. It's all humbly. It's all done without the guns and the swords, the grenades, and all of that goddamn stuff. I don't care what your teeth and your hair and your nails and all that stuff look like. I don't give a hoopity crap on that. And I'm sure Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly don't either. Bookham. I think that he admires people of what's good in their heart. And what's good in your heart is just not there. It's just not there. You can keep pretending and pretending and pretending, and then one minute you smile, one minute your head down, one minute you can't believe this, and one minute you gotta do this, you gotta make phone calls for this, you record. Who record for what? Record all these people for what? For what? It made no sense. It made no sense. But until you can show me some more proof about this Donnell Russell, other than sitting over there reading that paperwork backwards, you are inserter. You like to remove and insert your own perspective of how you interpreted a freaking legal paper. And you know good goddamn word that ain't what that paper meant or what you read. You steady want to keep bringing up the fact about some expired ass notarizing thing. His mother can't notarize for him. I'm going to tell you this. If my mama is a notary and I need something notarized, and I don't give a damn if a shit is expired, they know her. They know her face. They know she come in here. They know she might have been sick, can't make it in here on time. I bet you my mama better sign this paperwork. That's my mother. But you put it out there as bad behavior. Bad June. A mother can't sign this, his notary. The fuck, why not? If she got her license and her ID and everything to prove that she's a notary is a notary. A notary is a notary. A notary is a notary. I could go into the bank right now and say I need a notary. That could be my cousin. Got a notary. Yeah, he needs more positiveness, Carolyn. Dr. Rogers, he does. He needs a whole lot of more positiveness. But you, Booker, want to bring that paperwork out, and you know that paperwork old as hell. Old as hell. If Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly had a problem with June Barrett and Don Russell being scamming and crooking and doing whatever that they did to his taxes a long time ago, Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly had plenty of time to file a lawsuit on Don Russell and June Barrett. A long time ago, because those taxes, just that paperwork that you're reading, that ain't a current paperwork. But that was something that you and Sylvia, Sylvia brought that shit out. Sylvia had to come out and expose the Don Russell on June, his mother, about, her notary was expired. But yet then it clearly shows that, they tried to help him. They tried to help him. And at that time, I believe that Mr. Kelly was out. That's what it looked like to me. The time that June Barrett got involved with Mr. Kelly's taxes and things like that, from what it looks like he was out. He knew that somebody was taking care of it. Had he had a problem with it, then Mr. Kelly should be the problem to file a suit or do whatever he needs to do to Don Russell and June Barrett. Not Bookham. You can't walk in the court or nowhere on behalf of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly to file anything against June Barrett or Don Russell about his taxes. So I'm trying to understand, by you putting out the misinterpretation of the paperwork, what does that do for you? What does that, you can't go stand up in there. You can't even go file nothing on behalf of it. Nothing. You don't have that authorization, I would believe, from Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly to be his writ attorney, what you call it? His what you call a person? I know the word, I can't think of it. The head chief in charge. I don't think so. I don't think so. But at least that R. Kelly, RSK, LLC, that still might be up and running, Bookham. They still might be taking money from whatever money that might be coming in. You never know. Power of attorney. Thank you, honey. That's the word I'm looking for. I get stuck with power of attorney. I don't think that he'll ever lay power of an attorney on a person who can't control his emotions, on a person who deliberately comes out and say that, I'm going to be in Baltimore to beat your ass, or I'm coming to Chicago, or better yet, to even tell another human being, because I believe you said Don Russell cannot come in the state of Georgia. He can't come in the state. Do you know that's some moron shit to say? But I get it. It's all for accolades. But you did the accolades under telling Don Russell that you can't come into the state of Georgia, or Dubosky can't go over here and DJ can't go over there. You are now the gatekeeper of the United States itself. You got armor wear on, standing at the gates of every state where it says welcome to Illinois or welcome to Georgia. You gonna be standing there and not let these people in there. But yet then you out here as a so-called advocator up underneath the umbrella of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. I don't think that Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly would ever fix his mouth to tell anybody where they can and cannot go. But yet then he has a mentee and a godson that does so. How dare Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly choose someone like this to work or have him work up underneath him? I sure hope he didn't put you out here to have your agenda or a mission to do anything. Because if you ask me, you kind of fucked it all up for him. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. You just fucked up that whole man's shit. I got to go, y'all. Y'all have a beautiful night. I have said enough of my questions to myself that I just had on my membrane. I don't pay attention anymore to none of the other sideline community boards or none of that stuff. So you guys don't send it to me. I clearly am away from all of that past bull crap. I'm so past it. I'm so past it. What up, Goody Design? What up? What up? What up? What up, Shannon? What up, Native? Lavelle? I'm going to say bye to you guys. Capone, and don't take what I say, you guys, and, throw a brick or broom, all of that stuff at me. This is just my, who, what, where, whens, and whys. And Dr. Rogers, she just responded to what she could respond to just to, participate in the chat. And I appreciate her for that. I'm just going to forever, pray for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly and keep it moving, you guys. And that's all that we can do. Just keep it moving. It is what it is, and let God see him through. That's it. Let God see him through. But I got to get inside. You guys have a beautiful day. And I will see you guys ladies' night, chill night, for real, this Saturday. I don't have nothing to do this Saturday. So I'll see you guys then. Have some laughter on the channel. Laughter, laughter, laughter. That being said, everybody stay blessed. Stay prayed up. Don't forget to hit my like button. You can share my channel, you guys, because every now and then I'll have one of these little moments because they just come to me, I hope I don't rub anybody the wrong way or whatever. And for the record, I'm okay with my teeth, my toes, and my hair. I've been living now, coming up here on 50-ish in July. Those sticks, that type of behavior, you're going to have to come better at old pal. My life is made. My life has prospered. I'm just looking for more prosperity as I continue to grow. That's it, and that's all. I am who I am. I'm who I'm going to be. No better than you, but I'm not underneath you. You can bet a bottom bucks on that. Have a beautiful night, you guys. Don't forget to share the love out here. Share the love. Share the love. Get that bitterness off of you. Dust that shoulder. Dust that monkey off that shoulder. Good night, y'all.